Alright, what's up? It's Richie here with your NFL Week 15. Alright, only, 3 more games left after this week, or 3 games including this week. Jump right in at Thursday. Jets versus Baltimore. Jets coming off a 22-21 win over Miami. Sam Darnold, 270, 2 touchdowns, a pick. Robbie Anderson, 7 catches, 116 and a touchdown. Baltimore had a really good game against the Bills, really close game. Beat them 24-17. Jackson, he was fine, 145, 3 touchdowns. He only had 40 rushing yards, which is kind of low for him. And they only had actually 257 yards. The Bills are one of the best defenses in the league. They had 9 penalties, however, their defense, Baltimore's defense, had 6 sacks alone. Lamar Jackson, I guess he's kind of hurt, but they just really aren't very good, and the Ravens are good enough. I think even without Lamar, they should be able to win whether he's in or not. So I got Baltimore there, to win it and to help solidify their spot as the #1 seed. Alright, jumping into Sunday, the Patriots coming off a disappointing 23-16 loss to Kansas City. Brady was only 169, touchdown, a pick. They only had 278 yards of offense. Cincinnati lost to Cleveland 27-19. Dalton, 262, a pick. Mixon had a really good game, though. Joe Mixon ran for 146 and a touchdown. They put up 458 yards in that game. I think New England bounces back. They've had a rough last 5 games there. I think they bounce back here and get a win over Cincinnati in that one. All right, the Bucks and Lions. Bucks kind of off a shootout with the Colts. This is a weird game. I mean, they beat the Colts 30-35. Winston, 456 yards, 4 touchdowns, but he threw 3 interceptions. He put up 542 yards, but had 4 turnovers. They almost lost the game, but they didn't. However, Mike Evans is hurt. He seems to be probably out for the season. They're playing Detroit. It's coming off a 20-7 loss to Minnesota. David Blau, 205, 1 touchdown, 2 pick, only 231 yards. They allowed 5 sacks. I think the Bucks should win this game. Bucks have been playing well despite Winston throwing a bunch of interceptions against Detroit. It shouldn't hurt them as much if he does. They're kind of struggling a little bit, especially at quarterback. So, I mean, it still could be kind of close, but especially if the Bucks do turn over, which he will. But I still got the Bucks coming out on top. All right, the Bears and Packers. This is a pretty big game. The Bears are 7-6. They're two games behind wild card spot. They have a chance to get in. The Packers are right there at the #1 seed, I believe, and they're top of their division as well. Or so I guess it wouldn't be the #1 seed, but anyway, they're top of their division, and they're I think they're only 1 game behind #1 and 2 seeds as well. Chicago beat Dallas 31-24. Trubisky, 244, 3 touchdowns. They put up 382 yards, but they turned it over twice. Green Bay beat Washington 20-15. Rodgers, 195, a touchdown. Aaron Jones ran for 134 yards and a touchdown. They ran for 174. Defense had 4 sacks in that game. I'm going to go with Green Bay. I like Rodgers over Trubisky. Bears defense is tough, but Green Bay's playing. I just feel like they're the better overall team. Packers are like a sneaky Super Bowl contender. With Rodgers there, they could beat the Saints or San Francisco or any of those teams in the playoffs once they get there. Houston, Tennessee, huge game. Houston got demolished by Denver. They lost 38-24, but they were down 38-10 going in the 4th quarter. Watson, 292, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, plus ran for 2 as well. DeAndre Hopkins, 7 catches, 120, a touchdown. They put up 414 yards, but they turned over 3 times in that loss. Whereas Tennessee, they've been rolling behind Ryan Tannehill. They destroyed Oakland 42-21. Tannehill, 391, 3 touchdowns. Derrick Henry ran for 103 and 2 touchdowns. A.J. Brown, 5 catches, 153 and 2 touchdowns. They put up 552 yards. They had a fumble return for touchdown. This really is going either way. Both are 8-5, right on top of their division. This is huge for the wild card, but not only wild card for the playoffs. Whoever loses could be right there with Pittsburgh and maybe Buffalo for a wild card spot, but this is a really big game. I'm gonna go Tennessee here. I really like Houston. They've been kind of up and down though, but Ryan Tannehill's been playing out of his mind the last 3 or 4 games. this will be a really good back and forth game, close game. But I think it comes to it'll go the Titans' way. All right, Broncos and Chiefs. Chiefs have already won their division. Broncos, they took care of Houston, 38-24 behind rookie Drew Lock. Great game. Pass for 309, 3 touchdowns. Noah Fant, 4 catches, 113 and a touchdown. Defense had 3 sacks, 3 turnovers, and a fumble return for a touchdown. Whereas Kansas City beat New England 23-16. Mahomes 283, a touchdown, a pick. They had 3 sacks in that game. I like what Denver's doing. I like Locke a lot. I think he might be the future of that franchise. But I'll go with Chiefs here. Chiefs aren't like, they're not the high flying team they were last year. They have the capability to be, but they're just a solid team. And I think this will be a close game though. It's got KC by 9.5. I think that might be a little high. I think Denver might be kind of a little bit closer than that, maybe like 7 or so. But I got the Chiefs coming out on top. All right, Dolphins and Giants. Dolphins coming off a close loss to the Jets, 22-21. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 245 and a pick. Giants lost in overtime against Philly. They were actually up 17-3 in the game, and Philly came back to win. Eli started. Average Eli, 15 of 30, 203, 2 touchdowns. Darius Slayton, 5 catches, 154, 2 touchdowns. Defense did have 3 sacks. However, they only had 255 total yards. I'm going to go Miami here. Miami has been playing pretty competitive the last couple of months. They had a rough start to the season. The Giants, with Daniel Jones hurt, even when he was playing, he's going through his rookie stuff. I think he'll be good later, but Eli sucks. So I'll go Dolphins there. All right, Eagles and Redskins. Eagles are tied with Dallas, 6-7 on top of their division. They're right there with them. The Redskins having kind of a down year. Philly, they came back to beat the Giants in overtime, 23-16. Carson Wentz went 325, 2 touchdowns. They put up 418. Washington lost 20-15 against Green Bay. Haskins 171 touchdown and pick. They ran for 121. Their defense had 4 sacks. I'm gonna say Philly here. Philly's I think playing pretty well and setting themselves up nicely to a possible division win. Against Washington, it'll be a division win and maybe even win the division with Dallas kind of imploding. All right, Seahawks and Panthers. Seahawks, this is big for them if they want to keep pace with everybody, with the Niners and Saints and whoever, and for the seed, and with if they want to remain just a game behind San Francisco in the division. Carolina's already out of it. Their coach is gone. Seattle, though, lost 28-12 to the Rams. Wilson, 245 and a pick. They put up 308 yards. They allowed 5 sacks. Defense had 2 turnovers, a pick 6, but they allowed 455 yards. Carolina lost 40-20 to Atlanta. Kyle Allen, 293, a touchdown, 2 picks. They put up 345 yards, but they turned it over 4 times. I think Seattle bounces back here, even though they're going to go cross country. Panthers aren't doing that great. Russell Wilson is still good. They're still a definite Super Bowl contender, so I got Seattle there. All right, Jacksonville take on the Raiders. Raiders kind of imploding too, but they're still right in the wild card spot. They're only like 2 games behind, but they would need to win out and have other teams lose. Jacksonville got killed by the Chargers 45-10. Minshew 162 and a touchdown. They only had 252 yards. They had 10 penalties. Oakland got killed themselves by Tennessee though, 42-21. Carr 263, 2 touchdowns, 356. I think Oakland is the better overall team here. I like Minshew at quarterback for the Jaguars. I'm glad they're sticking with him, but I think the Raiders should be able to bounce back and get a much needed victory here. All right, the Browns and Cardinals. Browns also 6-7 in it for that wild card spot, possibly still alive anyway for the AFC. Cleveland beat Cincinnati 27-19. Not because of Baker Mayfield. He sucked. He was 11-24, 192, 2 picks. He ran for a touchdown. Nick Chubb ran for 106. They turned it over twice. Defense had a pick 6 in that game, which was pretty much the difference. It was an 8-point win. Arizona, they lost to Pittsburgh 23-17. Kyler Murray passed 194, 2 touchdowns, but he threw 3 interceptions, which cost them a really close game. They only had 236 yards, allowed 5 sacks, and had the 3 turnovers. Defense, though, had 3 sacks, 2 turnovers themselves, and only allowed 275. It's interesting. It's Kyler Murray, last year's Heisman winner from Oklahoma, against Baker Mayfield, the Oklahoma Heisman winner from 2 years ago, facing off each other. This could be a pretty interesting game, pretty fun game. I know the Browns are overall better, but I have this weird feeling about Arizona. I know logically I should just pick Cleveland, but I don't know why. I'm gonna go Arizona with that win there. All right, Minnesota and the Chargers. Minnesota 9-4, right there in the smack of it. We're only one game behind Green Bay for the division lead right there for a wild card spot. Minnesota beat Detroit 20-7. Kirk Cousins 242 and a touchdown. It was really about their defense. They had 5 sacks, 2 turnovers, only allowed 231 yards. Daniel Hunter had 3 sacks himself. Whereas the Chargers destroyed Jacksonville 45-10. Rivers 314, 3 touchdowns. Austin Eckler ran for 101 and had 4 catches for 112 and a touchdown. They put up 525 yards on that game. This will be an interesting game. Chargers are 5-8, but it's Rivers. They have a potent offense. It'll be a good, really good matchup. It's hard for me to... I think the Vikings are better overall, but I'll go Vikings here just because I think their defense is doing well, and Rivers has thrown quite a number of interceptions this year. So, and Kirk Cousins is playing pretty well. So I'm going to go Minnesota there, but that's a sneaky game. They could be an upset there if the Chargers were to beat the Vikings. All right, the Rams and Cowboys, this is actually really big for both teams. Rams are 8-5. They've kind of fought their way back to a possible wild card spot. They're 1 game behind the Vikings. Maybe they can. They're two games behind, 3 games behind San Francisco, but 2 games behind Seattle. Maybe they can sneak in somehow into the playoffs. Where the Cowboys dropping to 6-7. They're tied with Philly atop their division. They may not even make the playoffs this year. The Rams destroyed Seattle 28-12. Goff 293, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Higbee 7 catches, 116. They put up 455, but they turned it over twice. The defense had 5 sacks in that game. Dallas lost to Chicago 31-24, but they were down 24-7 in the 4th quarter. They made it an attempt to come back, but it was too little, too late. Dak Prescott 334 passing, a touchdown. Michael Gallup 6 catches, 109. They put up 408 yards. I think this actually could be a shootout. Rams, Dallas. It'll be a fun game to watch. But I'm going to go Rams. The Rams have been playing pretty well lately. Dallas, I don't know what's wrong with them, what's going on. This really could go either way, but I'm actually going to go with the Rams here to pull off a winner. All right, Falcons and 49ers. Falcons coming off a big win against Carolina, 40-20. Matt Ryan, 313, 2 touchdowns. They put up 461. Defense had 5 sacks, forced 4 turnovers in that win. Whereas San Francisco, one of the games of the best games ever. They beat the New Orleans Saints on a last-second field goal, 48-46. Little nugget, first time in NFL history the score has ended that way with 48-46. First time that's ever been a final score. Just weird. Jimmy Garoppolo, 349, 4 touchdowns a pick. Emmanuel Sanders, 7 catches, 157 touchdown, and he had a 35-yard touchdown pass on a trick play. They put up 516 yards, but they had 10 penalties in that game. That could hurt them. I do think San Francisco will win, but with Atlanta's firepower and Matt Ryan's firepower, this is another sneaky game. Atlanta could upset San Francisco here if San Francisco is not careful. However, Atlanta does have to go across the country, and San Francisco is a Super Bowl contender for sure. To me, so I'm going to go 49ers, closer than I think people will expect it to be. Alright, then the Sunday night game, Bills and Steelers. This is actually a huge game for the playoffs. The Bills are 9-4. They have the number 5 seed. The Steelers are 8-5. They have the number 6 seed right now in there. The Bills are actually only 1 game behind the Patriots, but the Patriots have been slumping, so they're even 1 game out of their division lead. The Steelers are a few games behind the Ravens, so the Steelers will have to get into the playoffs via the wild card. If the Steelers were to beat the Bills, they would hold that tiebreaker over the Bills for the 5th seed. But if the Steelers then lose, there's a bunch of teams, Houston, Tennessee, both 8 wins right now. A few teams with 7 or 6 or whatever. So this is actually a really big game for both teams in terms of either getting into the playoffs or they're seeding for the playoffs. Bills, they fought hard against Baltimore. They only lost 24-17. Their defense actually played really well against Lamar Jackson. Josh Allen was probably the reason they lost. He was only 17 of 39, 146 a touchdown. They only had 209 yards. They allowed 6 sacks in the game. However, their defense played well. They held Baltimore to only 257 total yards. Pittsburgh had a nice win against Arizona, 23-17. Devlin Hodges, 16 of 19, 152 and a touchdown. They ran for 140. They turned it over twice, which they can't do. Defense had 5 sacks, 3 turnovers, a punt return touchdown, and only allowed 236 yards. That's what I think this is going to come down to. Buffalo has to go to Pittsburgh. This is going to be a defensive game. I do not like Josh Allen as a quarterback for the Bills. I actually like Devin Hodges quite a bit, but he's a rookie. I'm giving the slight edge at quarterback to the Bills just because Josh Allen's more mobile. He's not accurate at all. He sucks at that, but he's more mobile. Both defenses are really, really good. This is really a tough one to pick. I think this is going to be low scoring. I mean, this might be a 16-15 kind of last second field goal, maybe made or missed. Gosh. I like the way the Steelers have been playing, but the Bills have been really, really good this year. I'm gonna go. Oh man, I'm gonna go Bills slightly. It's in Pittsburgh, but I think the Bills might just be a hair better than that. But this will be a really interesting game to watch. If you like defense, tune into this one. This one ain't going 48-46. I don't even think both teams will combine for 46 points in that. But I'm gonna go at Bills edge there. All right, then the Monday Colts Saints. Big for both. Colts technically still alive for a wild card spot. Saints losing to San Francisco. Now they're the number 2 seed, I think, 2 or 3. They should be able to win the division if they haven't. I think they clinched the division actually already. Colts had that shootout loss to Tampa, 38-35. Jacoby Brissett, 251 passing, 2 touchdowns. Marcus Johnson, 3 catches, 105 and a touchdown. Defense had 4 turnovers, a pick 6, but allowed 542 yards. New Orleans lost 48-46 to San Francisco. Breeze, 349, 5 touchdowns. Michael Thomas, 11 catches, 134 and a touchdown. They had 465 yards of offense. Defense had 3 sacks. I'm going to go New Orleans here. Their offense is off the chain. If Indianapolis gave that much up to Tampa Bay, which has a good offense, but Breeze won't turn it over 3 times like Winston did. Colts defense has been good all year, but I don't know about that. I'm going to go New Orleans here. All right, so those are my picks for previews, whatever, for the NFL Week 15. Like, subscribe, leave comments. Peace.
Lost all hope and wake up, try to find my focus. Meet someone new, but the walls ain't broken. It's a never-ending circle I'm in. Time slow when you're on your own, and just seeing that name on your phone, and phone rings, not you, heart slow, man. Why you gotta switch up the plan?